One more thing before concluding. Some people say or try to exploit the difference of understanding about imamah between Muslims, Sunnis, and Shi'as, and say, look, in some of the polemical writings, it is claimed that there is a different Qur'an for the Shia. You know, all these kind of polemical things, that there were other surahs in the Qur'an that Uthman suppressed because they speak favorably about Ali and his eligibility to be the Khalifa after the Prophet ﷺ. So the claim is made that some of the Qur'an was lost, suppressed by Uthman, or something was added in order to support one political view or theological view or the other. You might have heard also, those of you who have read in the subject, that there was a surah called Surah Al-Wilayah, a special surah in the Quran speaking about Ali's wilayah, that he should be the leader of Muslims. Now, there are 4 basic responses to that before I finish. One, that this kind of claims are batil. They are false. You go today to Iraq in Shia area. You go to Iran, a stronghold of Shiism, in India, or any place in the world. Personally, I have never seen the so-called Shi'ite Qur'an. And if any brother or sister here who follow the Shia interpretation can tell me, and I would welcome to hear that, if they have ever seen the so-called Shia Qur'an that is different. Is there anyone here by show of hands? Anyone who so-called saw the Shia Qur'an? Where is it? Why it's not in the marketplace? It is a myth to speak about the so-called Shia Qur'an. It is an exploitation of difference between Muslims about the concept of imamah to try to widen the gap and create myth, or to use writings that might have been written by some Shiite writers, but there are polemical writings on both sides that is not something that one should give a serious scholarly attention to. Number one. Number two, one of the greatest Shiite scholars is known as At-Tabrasi. In his famous volume known as Majma' al-Bayan, he says, and I'll quote him in Arabic first, أما الزيادة في القرآن فمجمع على بطلانها وأما النقصان فأشد استحالة. Which means, as far as anything that was added to the Quran, there is ijma', there is unanimity that this is false. And as far as reducing or removal of anything, nuqsan, diminishing from the Quran, it is even more impossible. And these are the words of one of the main pillars of Shiite theology. Number three, the question that I raised earlier. Ali radiallahu an and other people, other Sahaba, contemporaries of the Prophet ﷺ, very powerful figures, were there already. Would they allow Uthman or anyone else to tamper with what they believe is the word of Allah that must be preserved intact? It's an impossibility. We don't hear about this. And even some of those rebels who ultimately murdered Uthman radiallahu an, when they raised some issue, it was only just to try to gain some support. We said غير القرآن, but they could not offer a single iota of evidence against Uthman that he tampered with the Quran. It was not Uthman's decision. It was a collective decision of the Ummah that let's not divide, even on the modes of expression, keep it exactly as uttered by the Prophet ﷺ, which brought a great unity in the Muslim Ummah until today. To the point that one of the non-sympathetic non-Muslim scholars, William Muir, M-U-I-R, after going through a very critical analysis, very critical, of how the Quran was preserved, he concluded finally, he said, we can say that the Quran we have today, that means all over the Muslim world, you get any copy anywhere, published or printed at any time, manuscript, in any point of history, it is all the same. He said we can say, as a non-Muslim, that the Quran we have today is almost, we might say, the same. The truth is very difficult to utter it. He doesn't want to say it even openly. He says almost, but maybe you can say the same as the manuscript of Uthman, his The main difficulty, as I indicated in my humble little test, by the way, for those who are interested in the subject, album 7 of the Islamic teaching series all deal with the question of sciences of the Quran. And it was quoted there that what I said, that Moir was not as objective by trying to cut the connection between the manuscript written under the supervision of the Prophet that was collected by Abu Bakr and Uthman, as if there's something happened in between. But at least he could admit openly that the nuskha or the copy of Uthman is the same as the same as we have today. But then there is tremendous evidence that it is exactly the same also as written at the time of the Prophet and compiled by Abu Bakr. And finally, very simple logical question. If indeed anyone tampered with the Quran, removed any part pertaining to Ali radiallahu anh, dropping or adding, do you realize that Ali radiallahu anh himself was Khalifa for 6 years and has full power? He was the Khalifa. Yes, there were troubles like other Khulafa. There were wars going on, disputes and commotions. But why that so-called hidden Quran or hidden surahs of wilayah of others never appeared? He has every authority to publish and even burn all copies that Osman sent to the Amsar or to the cities.